Before he even gave us the Spider-Man trilogy, Sam Raimi gave us this particular superhero flick. As I'm about to talk about Darkman, which is celebrating its 30th anniversary, and now I bring to you a review of it right now. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Doyle, better known to y'all as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1990s superhero flick Darkman, released by Universal, directed by Sam Raimi, who co-wrote the screenplay of this. Now, after failing to secure the rights for Batman, which came out the previous year, or The Shadow, which would later get released by Universal, Mr. Raimi decided to create his own superhero and struck a deal with Universal to make his first ever Hollywood studio film. Yes, now even though he did produce some other movies, but they were produced by independent companies though, but some would get released by major studios, because I know he did one flick, which, hang on, let me see, what was that movie again? Oh yeah, Crime Wave, which got released by Columbia, but that was independently, produced. But this was, well, a big one. Anyway, this is a really underrated movie in ways, but it still did okay when it came out. Anyway, the film stars Liam Neeson in the title role, along with Frances McDormand, Colin Friels, and Larry Drake, about a scientist who is brutally attacked, disfigured, and left for dead by a ruthless mobster, and after his girlfriend, an attorney, runs afoul of a corrupt developer occurs, this scientist who survives and recovers after a failed treatment to cure him of his burn injuries, he develops superhuman abilities, which also have the unintended side effect of rendering him mentally unstable and borderline psychotic. Consumed with vengeance, he decides to hunt down the men responsible for his disfigurement. So, where we went for, let's get to this story. Now, Dr. Peyton Westlake, that's Liam Neeson, he is developing a new type of synthetic skin to help burn victims, but cannot get past a flaw that causes the skin to rapidly disintegrate after 99 minutes. His girlfriend attorney, Julie Hastings, that's Frances McDormand, discovers the Belisarius Memorandum, an incriminating document that proves developer Louis Strack Jr. has been bribing members of the zoning commission. When she confronts Strack, he confesses, showing her that he plans to design a brand new city, creating a substantial number of new jobs. And he warns Julie that the city's reigning crime boss, Robert Durant, played by Larry Drake, who was currently popular on TV's LA Law at the time, also wants the document. At Westlake's lab, he and his assistant Yakitito are testing the skin when the lights go out. The synthetic skin is stable after 100 minutes. Westlake has deduced that the skin is photosensitive. Well, their joy is short-lived as Durant and his goons show up and demand the memorandum, which Westlake knows nothing about. They search for a document, and Durant has his men kill Yakatito and beat Westlake, burning his hands and dipping his face in acid, which, believe me, hurts like you know. After finding the document, they rig the lab to explode, and it does so as Julie watches once she has arrived after Durant and his mobster goons leave. So, however, the blast throws a hideously burned Westlake through the roof and into the river. As a John Doe, he is brought to the hospital and subjected to a radical treatment which cuts the nerves of the spinothalamic tract. Sorry, it's kind of a big word here. Physical pain is no longer felt at the cost of tactile sensation. This loss of sensory input gives him enhanced strength due to adrenal overload and keeps his injuries from incapacitating him, but also mentally destabilizes him. Now, actually, I've learned something else here. Now, one of the doctors in the hospital is played by Jenny Agutter, but however, unfortunately, she was uncredited as she appeared as Joanne Simpson in Child's Play 2, which Universal released the same year. Yeah. After waking up from a coma, Westlake escapes from the hospital. Believed dead by Julie, Westlake reestablishes his lab in a condemned building and begins a long process of digitization to create a mask of his original face. He uses the time to plot revenge against Durant and his men. Yes. Apparently, now this comes to one scene when he's trying to find ways to get the mask gray to make him look a little bit better. This cat comes in and then he does like this crazy dance, like, you want to see the freak dance? Oh boy. Now that's probably one of the most memorable scenes from this movie, There's more than just that. Anyway, one by one he goes after Durant's henchmen. Well, he goes after the first one, Rick, after forcing him to reveal the identities of the other men, then studies them to subdue and impersonate them, having a talent for impressionism. When his face mask is complete, Westlake manages to convince Julie that he was in a coma rather than dead. He mentions that he is aware of Julie seeing Strack after his supposed death. She responds that Strack only comforted her. Keeping his disfigurement from her, Westlake instead probes whether or not she would accept him regardless of his appearance. Soon he goes after more goons. Now, then he goes after Polly, another member of Durant's mobster crew, and he really gives it. Let's see. And even manages to pull on Durant himself after he manages to get a recording of his voice. And soon he really gives it to these guys. I mean, it's really cool. Yes. Well, let me see. Give me a second. Okay. Sorry about that. I had to check the others. Anyway, Westlake sows dissension and confusion among Durant's henchmen by assuming their identities, as I've already mentioned. Now, on a date at a carnival with Julie, an altercation, causes Westlake to lose his temper, revealing to Julie that something is wrong with him. After he tries to play like throws a ball to knock down the 3 balls, the dude tells him he didn't win anything because he was standing over the line, and he wants to get the pink elephant. Yeah, that's another memorable scene from that movie. Boy, and every time he gets upset, it's like, give me the pink elephant, please, and stuff like that. Oh boy, and he gets more pissed than you can ever imagine. And when that dude runs Stan pokes his fingers in right to where Westlake is, he takes them and oh, that's gonna hurt, my friends. Ooh, yeah, that's smart. He quickly takes one of the stuffed pink elephants and gives it to Julie. It's like, take. Then he goes, take the fucking elephant. I mean, I didn't mean to laugh, but I couldn't help it. The way he's talked and what have you. Sorry, I know that wasn't pretty much of a fun thing, but well, that was another memorable scene, you know. But to make matters worse, his face begins to melt and flees. Julie follows him, discovering the discarded mask. She calls the pain that she still loves him regardless. She tells Strack she can no longer see him before discovering the stolen memorandum on his desk, confirming he was collaborating with Durant the entire time. She reveals that Peyton is still alive, but Strack tells her as long as he has the memorandum, no charges can be filed. When Julie leaves, Durant enters and is told to capture Julie and kill Westlake. Now, I'm going to get to the ending of the movie, so you've got 5 seconds to stop this video and go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below to avoid any spoilers. Excuse me, everyone. Okay, thank you for your listening. Here we go. Okay, you've been warned. Now, Durant intercepts Julie, kidnapping her before attacking Westlake's lair with two of his other goons, which I believe one is. Let's see. Yeah. Guzman and Smiley. Yes, but soon he manages to get to him, pulling off all sorts of moves. As those two are outmaneuvered and eliminated. Durant flees in a helicopter with Westlake dangling from an attached cable, which he uses to crash the helicopter. Which I'm getting to that in a moment. That part's really classic, and when he hooks the cable up to a truck, that copter flies. Durant just screams and boom explodes. And as Darkman Westlake goes, burn in hell! Yeah, another good moment. Anyway, soon Westlake once again impersonates Durant, who looks now beaten up and what have you. He meets up with Strack and a captive Julie at the top of an unfinished building. But his ruse is broken by Strack and they begin to fight. Westlake eventually gains the upper hand and dangles Strack by his ankle in the air. Yeah, he manages to get him, especially when Strack tries to get him with like this here thing that people, well, construction workers use to fire rivets and what have you. I believe that's what it is. Yeah. Anyway, Strack says that killing him would not be something he could live with, and soon Westlake drops him, and he falls to his death in the construction site below, remarking, "I'm learning to live with a lot of things." Julie tries to convince Westlake that he can still return to his old life, but he tells her he has changed on the inside as well and cannot subject anyone to his new vicious nature. He rushes from Julie as they exit an elevator, pulling on a mask and running into a crowd of pedestrians. And apparently he turns out to be, well, as the credits go, a final shemp in the form of Bruce Campbell, star of Sam Raimi's breakout hit, The Evil Dead, which I'll be reviewing that series in October. Just let you all know. Yep. Which after this, Raimi would bring Campbell back for the third movie, Army of Darkness, which Universal released. Anyway, as Julie unsuccessfully searches for him, Westlake watches her for a few moments before turning and walking away, narrating, "I am everyone and no one. Everywhere, nowhere. Call me Darkman." And that's the end. So what did I think of Darkman? Well, after I had been wanting to see this for some time, but I probably only got to see some parts of the movie on movie channels and what have you. But soon when I finally got, give me a second. When I finally got my hands on the Darkman trilogy earlier this year for my birthday, I'm just glad I got to see it. I've seen this a few times, including just recently, because today's the film's 30th anniversary. Anyway, I love Darkman. It's one of the most incredible original superhero movies I have ever seen. I have to say, Sam Raimi's direction was superb. The score done by Danny Elfman, who of course did the score for Batman and lots of other movies as well, including the Spider-Man trilogy, was exceptionally good. You can't go wrong with Mr. Elfman's music. Liam Neeson did an exceptionally good job. Francis McDormand, Colin Friels, Larry Drake, they were all real good in this. So I gotta say, it was awesome. The question is, though, would I recommend Darkman? Hell yeah! You need to check out this movie. It's awesome. It's great. It's got an exceptionally good cast, a good story, good music, etc., etc., etc. Now, of course, there was also. Oh, yeah, another fun fact I should bring up, I almost forgot. I found out that. Let's see. Yeah, that the character of Ricky was played by Sam's brother, Ted Raimi, who, of course, would also appear in some of his brother's movies, like the Spider-Man trilogy, for instance. But anyway, yep. You definitely gotta give Darkman a try. It went on to give out so many other things, including comic books, video games, action figures, as well as two direct-to-video sequels, which unfortunately Liam Neeson did not return to play Darkman. It went to Arnold Vosloo, who would go on to play Imhotep in The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. But those will be reviewed real soon. But anyway, what did you think of Darkman? Please feel free to tell me in the comments section below. And if you like this video, click the like button below, subscribe to my channel as well, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me again next time when I bring to you another anniversary review of another Universal movie, and that being Bring It On. Now, I will continue the Darkman trilogy later in the week, so stay tuned for that. But thanks for watching. Now, if you like this, you can check out these other great vids I have recently done. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the first installment of the Spider-Man trilogy, the original Spider-Man from 2002, and the second will be the upper right-hand corner will be Spider-Man 2. And as a bonus, since nobody wasn't around to chat with me yesterday, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the vid for my recent Sunday special stream where I bring to you what I've got coming up for the rest of the week and the month, and a little sneak preview I've got coming up for my Super September and stuff like that. Okay? Thank you very much for watching. Oh yeah, and don't forget to click the button below in the left bottom right hand corner to subscribe for more fun. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya!